Hello everyone, welcome, my name is Phoenix and this is the Consumer's Guide to Filmmaking. The Punisher, One Last Kill, 2026, Reynaldo Marcus Green. Taking place sometime after the events of Daredevil Born Again Season 1, Frank Castle has gone into seclusion after slaughtering the Nucci crime family. With all known ties to his family's murderers severed, Frank decides to end it all, his mission seemingly complete. However, there's one snag. Ma Nucci, the matriarch of the family Frank seemingly wiped off the map, is still alive. With a bounty now on his head, Frank must fight tooth and nail to survive the evening and continue his mission. So, little known fact about me, but, I like the Punisher. I'm a fan, you could say. I had heard a lot of things about this short film, and of course I was watching it the first chance I got. Now, obvious bias notice for the proceedings to come, this massive Punisher mark right here had a wonderful time with this action short. Visually, director Reynaldo Marcus Green, in tandem with DP Robert Elswit, created a visual atmosphere that is more coordinated and interesting than most MCU projects. On par with the best episodes of Daredevil, the coordinated long take of Castle walking around this war-torn neighborhood, this close shot on his face while the chaos is out of focus, was incredible. Elswit and Green has such a command of how close and how far to shoot things. But entering now is editor Melissa Chung to make this a trio, and the action we got in this show, at least for an MCU project, is incredible. Allowing the combat to breathe in these medium to wide shots, the entire second act of this short film is just one long marathon of carnage. The cuts are super minimal, the best examples of which are done to hide obvious stunt work. Watching Frank bust down a door while on fire, and Jon Bernthal did that stunt himself, and absolutely murk a bunch of purge-ass looking wannabes was so satisfying. Now, I know the shot that everyone keeps ragging on, and I wholly agree that the shot looks like absolute dog shit. But based on what I read, that was a case of choosing a bad angle for the edit. Because apparently, it was a practical shot that only had Bernthal's face CG'd in to cover up the stunt person. Don't get me wrong, it looked god-awful. But it was one solitary aberration in an otherwise solidly presented special. Since we are dealing with the Punisher here, we are dealing with production designers and special effects guys who want to create a very dark and violent setting. The set design and art design for this little neighborhood Frank lived in was really killer. With the chaotic strife of Daredevil Born Again Season 2 probably happening in the background on top of the criminal power vacuum that Frank left, it makes sense that this part of town would be a war-torn shithole. But when the Punisher is doing what he does best, the gore and the blood is off the charts. Stab wounds, gunshots, all presented really well and cut around decently to hide imperfections. Musically, the original score by Chris Bowers wasn't too memorable, but the licensed music throughout this film was well used. Starting off with the Danzig classic Mother, and warping it as Frank's mind deteriorates, it was a really strong opening salvo in terms of audio design and music. Later, as Frank is deciding to be a hero instead of just going after Ma Nucci, the song I Will Be Heard by Hatebreed blares as Frank marches down the street and just murks everybody. That was about as Punisher a song choice as you could get, and I smiled quite a bit as it was happening. The writing sees our star Jon Bernthal taking the reins of the script, with director Reynaldo Green doing touch-up work. Bernthal's vision for the character is one that reminds me of Jason Aaron's Punisher Max run. A hardened, worn-out soldier, tired and old. All Frank Castle wants is for this suffering to end and to be able to be with his little girl one last time. But after Ma Nucci forced his hand, and the resultant chaos showed him the power of that skull and what it can mean to people, Frank realizes his mission is far from done, and he has to keep going. In a sad way, He keeps going for his little girl and his family. Jon Bernthal donning the skull once again shows that he might just be the best overall Punisher of all time. A very passionate and animated actor, Bernthal captures both the pain of a soldier whose mind has been ravaged by war and a merciless killing machine. His performance during the opening moments was genuinely riveting. Despite showing up for like a cup of coffee, Judith Light was quite good as Ma Nucci. Maybe not as animated as Saffron Henderson from the video game, but I would love to see more of Judith in a movie and or show. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, make more of this please and thank you. So, to sum it all up, caveman like Punisher. Punisher shoot things. Caveman happy. Fucking... In all seriousness, this short film was a very entertaining and very loving ode to this character. Leaving things open for potential movie or series continuations, Bernthal and this team presented action, violence, and character work that was well above average for an MCU project. I cannot wait to see where this goes, but if this is all we get, it's a hell of a note for Bernthal's version of the character to go out on. Recommended. And I am feeling an 8 out of 10 on this one. But that's maybe generous of me, but I'm a Punisher mark, and I got what I wanted out of this film. Catch you later, guys.